Continuously, pandemonium quaked. The aftershocks from the fight felt as vigorous shocks and tremors, even echoed through Amelia's private quarters. The light hanging from the ceiling was violently swaying, just was falling. While lying in bed, Amelia was being forced to make a choice. To stay there, that was what had been said to her. Perhaps it had been more of a plea, such as, "Please stay." Should she believe that and wait? Or should she ignore it and rush out? Her inner thoughts about her situation lost in revolution. She continued to postpone a decision. However,
Leah, the end has come.
While that fierce battle shaking continued, at the Amelia lying in bed, Puck spoke. Her amethyst eyes trembling as they gazed upward. Puck gave a sniff with his tiny nose. His short arms crossed. Hearing that it was the end, Amelia gulped. Yet again, she had been unable to do anything. Putting off making a choice, and accepting the consequences of not making said choice. That it was a cowardly act, she somewhat understood. She, once again, had deferred her stance onto Subaru.
Reinhardt's here. It's Subaru's defeat.
With that continuation of Puck's words, Amelia's thoughts froze. Unable to speak but making sounds, unable to form thoughts, Amelia opened her eyes wide. Even hearing that it was the end, Amelia had been certain of Subaru's victory, that she never for a moment doubted it. Amelia had only realized at this moment Natsuki Subaru would not be defeated. No matter what the opponent, this selfish excuses and tenacity and abuse of misanthropy, he would always grasp victory. With all under his control, manipulating all subordinates he could think of, no matter the opponent, they would be annihilated. And when tired of thinking and needing a moment of peace, he would come to find Amelia. Definitely, Subaru was going to come to her room. Amelia had been believing that.
Until today, I've never rushed Leah's choices. But that can't be done this time. You have to make a decision.
To make a decision.
Would you prefer to stay here or to leave?
To what extent did he know? For in that plan, Puck's voice was conviction. Puck gazed down at Amelia, tightly grasping up her sheets. His usual aloof expression was completely gone, and the compassion for his beloved child was strong instead. At a dear child that had lost her way and was anxious about the road ahead, her parents' eyes were directed.
It looks like, all this time, Subaru had been controlling information properly. There isn't any sign of Leah being involved in the organization's activities. Well, Leah really wasn't involved at all, but having been with them for so long, some people with suspicions will show up for sure. This was a necessary precaution.
Wasn't involved at all? Then what kind of position was I in?
From Roswell's mansion, you were kidnapped and locked away. That's how they're treating you. Then those children attempting to destroy Pandemonium right now seem more like rescuers who came for you.
At this unexpected explanation, Amelia was stunned. That Amelia had been brought out of Roslow's mansion against her will was true, and that she had been angered by it, and had disliked Subaru for it, was also true. However, she had not refused that clinging, pleading Subaru. It was likewise correct that she had overlooked the fact that he had been doing his utmost to protect the time he had spent with her. And yet, despite that, could it really be said that Amelia was wholly unrelated to how things were? Wouldn't arguing that just be the peak of shamelessness?
Leah, if you just wait here nicely, as a poor princess, your rescuers will aid you, but...
While speaking as if they were whispering, Puck landed on Amelia's thin shoulder. And then, with that cat spirit nearing her cheek, Amelia painfully comprehended the unspoken continuation of his words. If she waited here, she'd be rescued as a victim. However, if Amelia left by herself, then she would be a perpetrator that had been acting of her own free will. Faced with that fact, it was not even a moment of hesitation. Rising, Amelia put her hand on that white room's only door. To open it from the outside, a complicated authentication procedure was needed for identification, so Subaru and her caretaker, Frederica, were the only people allowed to enter or leave. The moment Amelia's hand touched the door from the inside, however, the system crumbled, leaving no trace behind.
Subaru, you twit.
Seeking signs of the destroyed technique with the palm of her hand, Amelia murmured in a weak voice. It had been originally created, so it would be broken by Amelia and Amelia alone. In other words, Subaru had made it so Amelia could escape whenever she wished. That bird cage's door had been designed to be destroyed by the determination of the bird cage inside all along. Was it perhaps because Subaru had trusted that Amelia would never escape? Or maybe it was Subaru's own kindness in that he wished to respect Amelia's desire to run away? That answer, she desired to hear it straight from Subaru's mouth, she thought. At the end of a time during which she had not been capable of choosing anything, that was the answer Amelia had settled upon.